Hello, lads. This is just one of those videos where I thought about its conception. I read an article earlier in the day, and it was just one of those videos that I knew I wanted to throw my 2 cents in. Since I'm in like the biggest Rob Zombie phase I've ever been in my entire fucking life. Thanks, Halloween 2. And I'm getting into his music. This man's just like he fits my vibe right now. He fits my vibe. He fits my mood. He gets me, dude. He gets me. Rob Zombie, lads. It's like, Rosie, why don't you shut the fuck up about Rob Zombie? No, I don't wanna. I don't wanna shut up about Rob Zombie. Because I think the Halloween is good. I like some of his music. And after he just put out, his last movie he just put out was The Munsters, which was an odd choice for him. But it got me thinking, what's this man's next move? If you're Rob Zombie, if you're the chronic hell-raising middle finger asshole Rob Zombie, what's your next move? Okay? What's your next move? Like, what are you gonna do next? And like, The Munsters, I think, was a step back of G. I don't know if that was really him. I don't know if that was really him. Interesting. But it's time to get back to making your trashy horror movies, bro. Because I want to see them. And I got a lot more to choose from. I gotta go watch the rest of his filmography because I want to watch all of them now. But it really got me thinking, what are we doing next? What's this man got in the tank? Now, I think if you're Rob Zombie, you're the Halloween duology, it really kind of like, I mean, I don't know. Like, he's a kind of a controversial filmmaker. I think we all understand that. And the Halloween duology is kind of his fucking, that was his big break, right? That was his big chance. However, like, honestly, I think if you're objectively fucking watching those movies, I think they're good. I think they're good. I think they're underrated and good. So, I think this man deserves another crack at something bigger, you know? So, I just kind of thought, I did a little bit of research and did some thinking of my own, and I'm thinking, what could this man do? I know what I'm about. Some of the ideas I came up with are really fucking far out there. I didn't really give them, I mean, I'll talk about their likelihood a little bit, but like some of these are like really far out there, are totally never gonna happen, and then some of these are far more likelier to happen than others. Not to say that, I mean, the thing about Rob Zombie is that, like, what he wants to do, he finds a way to do it, right? So, I mean, so like, likelihood is its own thing, but it's like, if Rob wants to do something, Rob's gonna do it, you know? He obviously does what he wants to do, and he likes his creative control. He doesn't like the studio meddling. He wants to do what he wants to do, and I completely 100% respect that. So, you got me thinking here. So, what franchises should he touch? What could he touch and it would be good? What should he not touch? Like, what would be best for him to avoid? So, I got my little thinking. I got my little thinking out, bruh. I got my little thinking cap out, and I put it on. So, we're going to start with this little list with the franchises that Rob Zombie absolutely should not touch, should not be involved with. If this idea even comes up, just no. Just no. The very first franchise that I think Rob Zombie should absolutely 100% stay away from is Scream. Scream is as mainstream can get, man. It's so fucking mainstream. That's just, like, Scream is just so, like, if I could think of one horror franchise that is the anti-Rob Zombie, it is Scream. And, like, Scream is one, it's kind of, like, Scream can be gory at times, like, in the third act bloodbath, that's a term they say in the movie for a reason. It can be a gory franchise, but it's like, Rob Zombie, it's like, it's not just gore. It's not just that. Even those Halloween movies, you can see it's not just gore. Scream's meta horror concept is just so no, like, just so, like, that would not mesh well with the way that Rob Zombie likes to do things. These two cannot be even further apart. Thankfully, the likelihood of this happening is also very fucking low, because Scream is kind of in a second revival period right now. It's in a second wave of movies. So they're kind of doing their own thing right now. They seem to have they seem to have their own thing. They got their stuff figured out. Scream doesn't need Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie doesn't need Scream. I don't like that idea. Is just garbage. Absolutely not. Sticking with Craven, this one is actually more likely. Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, when I say this is more likely, I just mean it's more likely than Scream, because Nightmare on Elm Street is still kind of in limbo right now. Jason is coming back, but like the only one of the bigger names we haven't heard anything about yet is Freddy. Freddy hasn't come back yet. And in terms of who could bring Freddy back, I don't think Rob Zombie would be good for Freddy. And the reason I don't think Rob Zombie would be good for Freddy is, like, number one, I think when Freddy comes back, it needs to be a Halloween 2018-esque safe movie. Like, you need to, like, ideally you have, like, Robert Englund comes back and he passes the, like, Freddy, you can kind of go through multiple forms and incarnations, so ideally you find a way to get Robert Englund back, have him pass the torch to the new guy in some way, shape, or form. Like, it's, like, the next Freddy movie is definitely not a time to be experimental. Following a disastrous remake, it's just, like, Rob Zombie's further experimental style is not what this franchise needs. And it is kind of a dead franchise, so it is one that if he could, like, those people that own the rights, the Craven estate, they could be keeping their options open. You never know. So, but, like, just no. And honestly, because Freddy in the remake is a pedophile, and then there's pedophilic subtext in the originals. Just, I don't know if Rob Zombie's the guy you really want to be trusting with that kind of material, because Lord fuck only knows what he'll do with it. Lord fuck only knows what he'll do with it, man. Same thing with Scream. Like, do you want to watch a Rob Zombie Scream remake? Like, come on, people. Fucking Dewey will be fucking wanting to sleep with his sister. Like, Dewey has that sister in the original, right? They'll be fucking. Sydney will be some white trash pregnant with another baby on the way. Like, she'll be some teen mom. Billy will be one of the nicer characters in the movie. Still be some dumb jock that hosts orgies every fucking week. Like, it's just, no. Same thing with Freddy. Like, I don't really trust Rob Zombie with the subject matter of pedophilia. So, because Lord only knows what the fuck he's going to do with it. So, no, I say no to Freddy. Next thing I also don't want to see, I don't want to see Chucky. And not just Chucky, I don't want to see any Rob Zombie killer doll. No, just, again, what Rob Zombie likes to do is Rob Zombie likes maniacs. He likes maniacs. He likes crazy people. Cuckoos. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Crazy maniac psychos. Like a Charles Manson-esque psychopath. That's what Rob Zombie likes. That is not Chucky Child's Play killer doll. It's too hokey. It's too gimmicky. It's just, like, James Wan just showed that he could do it with Megan. But, like, Rob Zombie, he likes what he likes, and he can't really deviate from his given formula too much. Again, I'm sure that Munsters movie's awful. I'm sure that Munsters movie is awful. But it's just too goofy. It's not Rob. It ain't Rob, dude. It's not Rob. And it's like, again, when we're talking, like, when you get Rob, you get him. That's what I think. When you understand the kind of person Rob Zombie, you understand his mind, I guess. I mean, I'm not saying I understand his fucking mind, but it's like, I think when you get what he goes for in his movies, you can kind of respect him a little bit more. When you understand the method to the madness, you get it. You just get it. And it's like, I can never envision the Rob Zombie method with campy killer doll nonsense. So I never want to see that. Never want to see that. But again, this is all should not. This is all fucking should not. Like, Rob Zombie, no, he will do whatever he wants. But the likelihood of a Rob Zombie killer doll is admittedly higher than Scream, but it's lower than Freddy. The most likely one so far is Freddy. Next, I don't want to see a Rob Zombie alien predator sci-fi fiction. Like, I just don't think that fits. I just don't think that fits his style. I don't trust Rob Zombie to, like, write the science fiction dialogue as well as it needs to be written. I don't trust the logic. I don't trust any creation he makes for the alien predator world to like sync up with the logic of the universe or any, like I don't trust it. Nor do I trust his wife, who he's going to no doubt cast in all these movies that we're theory crafting here. I don't trust his wife to be able to pull off the Ellen Ripley badassery that would be required of any alien movie. Like, for real, do you see Sherry Moon Zombie running around being a badass Ellen Ripley figure? No. Well, I think the alien formula is stale and does need to be looked at and revisited. Honestly, aliens should not, this is a hot take, hot take, these Ellen Ripley clones in the Alien franchise, I'm done with them. Sick of it. I do not want to see another female lead in Alien for a while. The next lead in Alien should be male. Fight me. Fight me. But yeah, but for Rob Zombie, no. Rob Zombie was a Rob Zombie Alien Predator movie would totally fall on its face. Do not want to see that whatsoever. Next, I don't want to see any Rob Zombie J-horror style movie. I don't want to see any Rob Zombie take on something like The Ring or The Grudge. Because J-horror, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about J-horror. J-horror requires, of course, not all, but like movies like The Ring and The Grudge require this thing called subtlety. And I don't know if you know this or not, but Rob Zombie wouldn't know subtlety if it came up and smacked his fucking face. Rob Zombie and subtlety do not go together at all. If Rob Zombie created a fucking Ring movie, it would be the worst Ring movie of all time. If Rob Zombie made a Grudge movie, it would likely be the worst Grudge movie of all time. And those franchises get pretty fucking bad. These franchises get pretty garbage. They do. Rings, that last Ring movie that was in theaters like fucking 5 years ago was completely garbage, and Ju-On has been straight to DVD for like the longest time ever. That franchise, and that fucking one done in 2020 was terrible. That fucking Grudge movie in 2020 is terrible. Now again, I think Rob Zombie, here's what I think about Rob Zombie. I think he's a prodigy in terms of being a director. His writing skills suck. So, like, I think Rob Zombie could shit out a bet. Like, I know I just said they'd be some of the worst movies, like, the worst movie in the franchise history, but the more I think about it, I think Rob Zombie could actually make a Grudge movie better than the 2021, and I think he can make a Ring movie better than the fucking one from 2017. Rings, is that what that one was called? I think he could probably make a better Ring movie than that, too. Because, like, you got your white, like, for The Ring, you got your Rob Zombie, white trash, poor people that can't afford fucking, they do the DVD shit. But it's like, I don't know. The Ring never had much franchise potential to begin with. I can't believe that got made into, like, fucking 5 different movies. Like, it's so weird. Ju-On definitely has more franchise potential, but it's like, if Ju-On deviates too far from its formula, it also sucks. So, I don't know. I mean, I think out of the two, if you have to give one to Rob Zombie, I definitely think you give him Ju-On, The Grudge, because I think that offers him more freedom to kind of do a little bit more of what he would want to do. The Ring is just, when you write a Ring movie, you're so trapped by it. That's the ironic thing, is like Samara was stuck in the well for 7 days, but you're so trapped by that Ring formula, it's hard to come up with something to like diverge it off its beaten path without it being stupid. So you would definitely want him to have The Grudge, but either way, now, about these franchises and anything, like, don't attempt anything like them. Like, I'm not saying, like, oh, Rob Zombie's gonna do a Grudge movie. Like, I don't want to see a Rob Zombie movie inspired by J-horror. I think that would be garbage. I just think that would be garbage. It's not his style. It's not his style. Just, no. Don't want to see that. Next, I don't want to see anything like The Conjuring or The Exorcist. No demon movies from Rob Zombie, man. I don't think Rob Zombie is the kind of guy who can do a demon movie. I just don't. He doesn't strike me as the kind of person that buys into that shit. And I'm not saying that you have to make a demon movie, because you definitely don't have to be fucking hardcore Christian Catholic to buy into that shit. But the thing about, I've never seen a demon movie where the demon wins. Like, okay, but some of the Conjuring prequels, maybe. I guess Annabelle wins in the Annabelle creation, because she, like, they get her, but she gets out, and then she's possessed Janet or whatever. No, it's not Janet. Janet's in The Conjuring too. She possesses the the girl with the fuck her, what? I forget her name. The girl with that can't walk. She possesses her and then goes by Annabelle, and then and then that happens. So like I guess in some of the Conjuring prequels, but like all in all, just like Rob doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that's number one can write it, and number two, just I don't. He could definitely do some creative camera stuff with this particular genre, but I think the writing would just be a fucking mess. I just nope. So again, out of all of these, like the thing, I mean, technically something. Out of all of these, I think the most likely thing that would happen, honestly, is he gets a crack at the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. But I don't know. These are all of the fucking bad ideas. Rob is not equipped for any of this kind of shit. And again, that's the thing about Rob. He would do it anyway. That's how he is. But like, it would be fucking garbage. Rob would sooner, like, if Rob Zombie watched this video, he would get pissed that I said he couldn't do any of these, and he would go try to do these. Like, that's the kind of person he is. So that's why I say he should not do these, because they would be terrible. They would be garbage. So, with all that out of the way, what should Rob Zombie be doing? If you're Rob Zombie, you gotta play to your strengths. What are you doing? What are you doing? Easy. If you're Rob Zombie, I continue to say this, the number one project that you need to be pitching, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He's already said this is one of the greatest movies ever made. He clearly has a deep idolization and fascination for it by the fact that he, like, so much Texas Chainsaw influence gets into his other work. The Firefly family from House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects and Three from Hell. Very clear Texas Chainsaw inspiration. Fucking the fucking Michael Myers Halloween they gave him the Leatherface build. He wears all the masks and stuff. That could be looked at as being inspired by Bubba. Like, Rob Zombie clearly wants to do this. He wants to do this. And if you're Texas Chainsaw Massacre here, you also don't have anything to lose. That's why I don't understand how this hasn't happened yet. This is a marriage waiting to happen. It's a marriage fucking waiting to happen. When you go back and watch the 1974 Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, you see all the Rob Zombie, like, you can see all of all the stuff that, like, that influenced him. The crazy characters like the hitchhiker and the cook and Bubba. Like, the Bubba, the hitchhiker, and the cook, and Chop Top from the second one. Rob Zombie loves Bill Moseley. He cast Bill Moseley as Otis. He cast him in, like, everything. He loves Bill Moseley. Bill Moseley, hell, if you give Rob Zombie a remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Bill Moseley would make a great cook. I think he even played the cook in, he even played the cook, didn't he? And what was that in? Was it in, oh shit, it was in, let me look this up real fast. I know he actually did play the cook in something. Bill Moseley, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He was in Texas Chainsaw 3D, right? Is that it? Yeah, that was it. Yeah. I think he played the cook in the fucking 2013 that Do You Think, Cuz? That movie? I think he was a cook in that at the very beginning. But anyway, like, he would be a really good cook. You gave him a full movie to actually be the cook. He'd be really fucking good. He'd be really fucking good. And it's like, another thing, like, Rob Zombie took a lot of liberties with Halloween. That's something that a lot of people criticize his remake for. Some areas justified, some areas not justified. But if you gave him Texas Chainsaw, I don't feel like he would take as many liberties because, number one, he doesn't have to. It's more grounded with what he wants to be doing. And number two, I don't think he would want to take as many liberties because he clearly respects the source material so much. You give Rob Zombie a very tiny budget and creative freedom, he will shit out the best Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie since the original. And again, we were just talking about this. The franchise has nothing to lose. It's in limbo. Did you see that last fucking movie, how bad it was? The 2022 Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie was fucking toilet paper. It was fucking shits for the fucking birds. It was so bad. The franchise has no direction. Give it to Zombie. Let him put the direction back in it. Seriously. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is the #1 target for Rob Zombie. And again, if you're the studio, you have nothing to fucking lose. He will smash it out of the park. Not that you don't necessarily don't need to remake the original or anything. Like, just give him Leatherface, give him, like, Bill Moseley doesn't even have to play the cook. Just let Bill Moseley be a member of the family. Give him Leatherface, just give him a tiny budget. Watch him make it. He understands why Texas Chainsaw Massacre works, man. He's proven that with, like, the Firefly family and that dynamic from Devil's Rejects and Tales of a Thousand Corpses and 3 from Hell. Let him do it! He will breathe life back into this franchise that desperately fucking needs it. Next, I've heard a rumor that Rob Zombie, I think Dr. Wolfula said this, I'm going to say it again. I can't confirm this, and I've looked it up, and I can't find anything on it. I've heard that Rob Zombie doesn't like Jason Voorhees, and that's a total fucking shame, because you, again, like I just said, you give Rob Zombie, just say, here's a tiny budget, go make an hour and 40-minute Friday the 13th movie, he will give you the best Friday the 13th movie in the franchise. I 100% believe that. I 100% believe that. Rob Zombie, like, everything he wants to do is in Friday the 13th. The kills, the gory kills, the sex, the drugs, the violence, everything. Rob Zombie and Friday the 13th go together really fucking well. Rob Zombie will give you a top 5 entry in this franchise easily. Again, this franchise sucks. I'm gonna be the first one to say it. Friday the 13th is a garbage franchise. It's bad. Its 2 best movies are 6 and 4. And I like 7 too, but 7's not good. But 6 and 4 are the best movies in the entire franchise. What franchise's best movies are 6 and 4? Like, that's how fucked this franchise is. And a lot of its movies are some of the worst movies in history. Like, it's bad. 3's okay. 2's okay. 1 isn't very good. The original Friday the 13th is not good, fight me. It's not. It's not a good movie. You give... the remake is good. The remake is good. 6 is good. 4 is good. So, like, those are your top 3. And then 3 is alright. And then 2 is okay. And that's it. Those are the only 5 that are tolerable. Which, I mean, again, 3 isn't a good movie. Neither is 2. And then 6 and 4 really aren't good movies either. Like there's no movie in this franchise that is good, objectively. 6 and 4 being good are just good by, like, 6, it's like, holy shit, there's something fucking happening. There's character work here. What the fuck? That's incredible, Jason. Good job. The best piece of content to come out of this franchise is Never Hike Alone, a fan film. Again, I've said that before, too. So you give Rob Zombie Friday the 13th, he doesn't even have to have good writing. All he's got to do is give Jason some fucking good kills. Because that's all you look for when you watch Friday the 13th. Jason is a good villain. Play to your movie strengths. Let Rob go out there and fucking design some sick-ass kills, which he can do easily, and you'll have something good here. I really, like, obviously you'll have to make Rob go. Like, Rob, the only difference you could argue is that Rob's style is more grounded in gritty realism, whereas Friday the 13th does have some over-the-top theatrics. But I really feel like if you give Rob a chance to, like, I don't want to say bring down Friday's violence level, but I think you add to the realism of Friday, Rob Zombie can give you a scary, scary, scary Jason Voorhees. And I also think if Rob not liking Jason is true, he might take some creative liberties that fans might not appreciate. So like you could be prepared for that. But honestly, I mean, the franchise just got back. Let's see how these reboots go. But if these reboots fail, and like the thing about Friday the 13th, it's like, who gives a shit? It's a fucking free for all. Let Rob direct a fucking sequel to the fucking remake. It wouldn't matter. Like, you don't have to give Rob Zombie a full fucking Friday the 13th duology here. Just let him direct one. Just let him direct one. But, like, seriously, if you give Rob Rob with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre trilogy, holy shit, that'd be so fucking good. But, you know, just give him one Friday the 13th. That's all he would fucking need. That's all he would fucking need to make an impact. His Friday the 13th movie would be so good, you'd be asking for another one. Like, I really think that. I really fucking think that, dude. Like, the thing about a lot of the arguments against this Halloween trilogy, because, like, Halloween was, like, classier than the other slasher franchise. franchises, like, it was more elevated and Rob kind of sucked the class out of it. There ain't no class to be sucked out of Friday the 13th. You can have your full frontal nudity, whatever the fuck you want. Rob Zombie would fucking make a great Friday the 13th. For real. He'd kill it. He'd be really good. Next, here's another interesting franchise that I think could very well benefit from a Rob Zombie coat of paint. This is an odd choice, considering that I said that Rob Zombie science fiction doesn't sound good, but I think he could do something really good with Hellraiser. I think a Rob Zombie Hellraiser is more interesting of an idea the more you think about it. Like, on initial thought, it doesn't sound that good, but it doesn't sound good when you first think about it. When you first think about it, it sounds like garbage. But think about it a little bit more. His wife would obviously be Julia, if you were to remake the original. His wife would be Julia. Bill Moseley, he likes Bill Moseley. Bill Moseley is Frank. That'd be pretty fucking good. I think Bill Moseley would be a good Frank. I don't know who'd play Pinhead in his remake. That's the most interesting thing. It would have, I mean, Malcolm McDowell can't really do the Pinhead thing. I mean, he played Alex in Clockwork Orange, so maybe. I don't know if I could see Malcolm McDowell as Pinhead, though. I don't know if I could see that. So the Pinhead's still kind of a question mark. But Bill Moseley as Frank is an intriguing idea. Like you get, a Rob Zombie Hellraiser duology, Hellraiser 1 and Hellraiser 2, if he were to remake those two movies. And again, this is a dead franchise. That fucking Hulu thing, whatever Hulu shot out last year, totally not looking at it. This franchise is still fucking dead. Or fuck, maybe you get lucky and you get fucking Doug Bradley back as Pinhead. How about that? How about you fucking write a good script and you get Doug Bradley back as Pinhead? Not to say that Rob Zombie's script writing skills are the best, but it's like, Doug Bradley, it's not like he hasn't been in some crappy fucking Hellraiser movies before. I think all you gotta do, here's what you say. I know Rob Zombie doesn't like studio interference, but, like, you give Doug Bradley some ounce of kind of creative control and you let him suggest some ideas and give some input, you could have an interesting Hellraiser remake on your hands here. And, like, what could Rob Zombie do with that crazy fucking doctor character from the second one? I feel like if Rob Zombie had a crack at that crazy fucker in the second movie and, like, kind of work him into the first one a little bit more, you could create a pretty interesting duology there. And make Kirsty involved in the second one, because she wasn't in this. Was she in the second one? Yes, she was. Was she? I haven't seen Hellraiser 2 in so long. I feel like she has to be. Yeah, she was. Let me make sure. Hellraiser. I can't even remember if she was in it. Isn't that really sad? Can't even remember. Okay, but anyway, though, I think that's beside the point. I have no fucking idea if Kirsty was in it. Isn't that really sad? I feel like she kind of has to be, but whatever. So, there you go. A Rob Zombie Hellraiser. Apologies. Technical difficulties. Okay, anyway, this next movie is one that you might know exists, you might not know that it exists. But once I saw it on this list, because I saw this is the only one on the list that sparked the idea for this video, and I was like, yes! And it's a movie, it's an older movie, it's called Freaks. It's called Freaks, lads. I'm not going to pretend I've seen this because I haven't, but it's totally up Rob Zombie's alley. I wanted the plot synopsis, and I have no context for, like, who any of these people are, but it's like, okay, it's about, like, this carnival, a very, like, basic one sense, it's about this carnival of disfigured people that, like, fucking presents, and I guess they go renegade or something. Holy shit, dude. That's so Rob right there. Rob really likes that exploitation style of film. He even grew up in the carnival life. Like, he grew up, like, all the carnivals all the time and shit. And so, like, you have a lot, like, if you give Rob Zombie fucking Freaks, holy fucking shit, dude. First of all, he's the only director with the balls to do it. This movie is only going to get remade by one fucking man, and that's Rob. Rob is the only man with the balls to do it. I don't think anyone else in the entire world would touch this movie with a 10-foot fucking pole. And that's a shame because it's fucking interesting. It's something I'm definitely going to give a watch. Because just fucking looking at the concept and the idea. Like, they got real, like, disfigured people to play the roles of the disfigured people in the movie. That's why it's like an exploitation kind of movie. So it's super non-PC, super non-politically correct, would be super fucking offensive, and Rob would be all over it. You can definitely just, like, predict some of the stuff that would happen. Obviously, the guy who runs the carnival would be a Rob Zombie redneck, and he'd say things about fucking disfigured people, and like, you get your Rob, you can get your Rob Zombie white trash in there very easily. You can give Deborah something to do. Deborah, like she's Deborah Myers. You get your white something to do really easy. There's a female lead that they abduct, I believe. That the fucking crazy fucking disfigured people end up abducting, and it's super in bad taste. But like that's what Zombie would like about it. That's what would attract him to this idea. I think a Freaks remake is something that there's only one man that can make it, and it's him. He's got the perfect credentials. He's got the perfect childhood to make this. He's got the super non-PC attitude. He's the only man with the balls to fucking remake this in the way it would need to be remade. So if you're going to remake Freaks, Rob Zombie, man, he's your man. He's the guy to do it. He could have he could have a lot of fun with this. And it's not like the Killer Doll kind of fun. Like you could still, like, say something with the concept. I don't know if Rob's intelligent enough to do it. But, like, this right here, it's got Rob's DNA all in it. Like, he would really like to do that. Next, a cannibal movie. Not like Texas Chainsaw. I mean, like a Cannibal Holocaust type of movie. Now, like a Green Inferno or an Inferno or something like that. Like that kind of genre where you have this weird tribe in the forest. Now, again, these movies are controversial. I regard Cannibal Holocaust as one of the worst movies ever fucking made. It's trash. Cannibal Holocaust is fucking garbage. It's trash. But I chose it here because of it's got that name notoriety. Like, if you could have Rob Zombie remake Cannibal Holocaust, that, like, he'd be the perfect guy to do it. And, like, the thing about Rob Zombie, if he remade Cannibal Holocaust, he would have the moral fucking high ground. Now, I know that, like, it's got the torturing animal stuff in it. That's the reason why it's fucking trash. It's fucking trash because it's a hypocritical piece of shit, and I've explained this on stream multiple times. Cannibal Holocaust is fucking garbage. But if you give it to Rob, here's the thing, though. I'm not saying don't remake Cannibal Holocaust. I know I did say you could remake Cannibal Holocaust, but, like, you could call it, like, just call it, like, fucking Disco Inferno or something. Obviously not that, but, like, you could have the same kind of story as Cannibal Holocaust, because the idea of Cannibal Holocaust is that the outside world are barely better than the quote-unquote savages that they depict on the film. Like, they riled up the tribe like, they almost killed them in real life, actually. But like, and it's like these kinds of movies are a lost kind of art, and, like, preferably so. But if there's one person that I think that could do it, I think Rob Zombie could do it. And it's one of those movies where it's like this kind of subgenre has nothing to lose because who's fucking making them and who's fucking watching them. The thing about Rob Zombie is when you attach your name to something, you can attach your name to something you're bigger than. That will give you creative control. And again, we've talked about some of the bigger franchises that he would probably have less creative control, like a Friday the 13th or something. But, like, you give him a Freaks or a Cannibal Holocaust-inspired movie, he would likely have full creative control and can probably do whatever the fuck he wants. And he could definitely depict the savagery of humanity in relation to these kinds of tribes that are commented on in these movies, and I think he could do it rather well. So I think a fucking cannibal movie would be, like, a wild, unhinged romp that would actually be way better than fucking Cannibal Holocaust. Fucking trash. Fucking trash movie. Next, I have Saw. And, like, again, Rob Zombie directed Saw. I feel the idea that drew me to this was when the guy's in the trap, there's known to be some weird camera stuff that goes on. I feel like Rob Zombie could definitely think of in unique ways to light and shoot the traps. And I think that I feel like his Saw would have a unique presentation to it that wasn't felt in the other ones. And a Rob Zombie written and directed Saw would also go back to the kind of graininess of the '04 original that I think, I mean, Saw's always been kind of cheap, but like, you let Rob Zombie shoot it on like what Halloween 2 was shot on, like what was that 100mm film or something? You let Rob Zombie shoot it on like something grainier. You could have a Saw movie with a very unique look and that can kind of feel more real and grounded. And I just think that idea is intriguing. Also, another thing about Saw is that Tobin Bell is often known to rewrite the fucking Jigsaw lines anyway. So it doesn't matter what Rob can come up with in terms of the Saw speeches, Tobin Bell will just rewrite them anyway. And it's like, I feel like Tobin Bell's Jigsaw is something that Rob would submit creative control over to her. Like, if Tobin doesn't like what Rob wrote, I'm sure Rob would let him... Zombie would definitely let him fucking rewrite there, because he's done it in every fucking movie. And I'm sure that's something you could get into Tobin Bell's contract for a hypothetical Rob Zombie Saw movie. Which, again, this isn't likely. This is just fucking spitballing. But like, you can obviously make sure Tobin Bell gets to fucking write his own fucking pre-trap speeches like usual. And I feel like it'd be better than some of the entries in the Saw. Like, again, Saw's not great. Spiral was not very good. Saw's best entries are 1, 2, and 6. And it's not the best track record for a franchise that's about to have its 10th. You have very little to lose. But again, that's probably not happening. Here's another one that actually intrigues me. These next two, and I guess I probably could have lumped another one in there, but a few more actually. And these two go together, and the other two I could have lumped in are Phantom of the Opera and The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. These silent movies. If you let Rob Zombie, because he just did The Munsters, right? So you let Rob Zombie take a crack at some of these silent movies, I feel like he could produce something really fucking unique and interesting. As far as this one goes, Nosferatu, just like the shot of him walking up the stairs, like there's some really good camera stuff in the original Nosferatu. There's a reason that when it was ordered to be burned, they didn't burn it. Lads, when they ordered Nosferatu to be destroyed, people said, no, we're not gonna destroy it because it's good. For real, dude. Every copy of Nosferatu was, like, supposed to be destroyed. And a lot of them were destroyed. This was considered a lost movie for a little bit, and it was found because not every copy of it was destroyed, deservingly fucking so. But, like, Nosferatu already got a remake, and it's actually getting another one. So it's like, the likelihood of this is low. But I don't know, something about a Rob Zombie-directed Count Orlok just sounds really interesting. And I feel like Rob Zombie could definitely... Because, like, the thing about Nosferatu is that it's technically Dracula. That's the thing about it. It's technically fucking Dracula. But, again, if there's one man that could put a spin on it to separate Nosferatu from Dracula, it's fucking Rob Zombie. He could definitely do something like that. And again, the next one is The Hunchback of Notre Dame. And I'll briefly comment on The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari and The Phantom of the Opera as well. But this one's intriguing too, because this one, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, has been absolutely destroyed by fucking Disney. Fucking destroyed. That movie... Like, the movie debatably should never be remade because Disney destroyed it. Disney kind of hijacked it, and it's now basically something they created. However, people forget this movie exists. This one came first. So, if you were to let Rob Zombie take a crack at Quasimodo and just maybe kind of do his own thing, take some creative liberties with it, you could have a really grainy, gnarly version of Hunchback of Notre Dame that would kind of get it away from the clutches of fucking Disney. Now, I know, I don't know, this might be one of those movies that hasn't aged particularly well because, PC, the Hunchback, they're still people, bro. They're not monsters. But, but it's just something that intrigues me about Rob Zombie going back and tackling some very old movies. Another one, Phantom of the Opera. Rob Zombie could put a spin on that. His wife could be the girl, and I don't know who would be the Phantom, though. But, I don't know, but there's definitely something to be said there. And then The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, again, Rob Zombie with that imagery, That his experience with the metal music videos combined with the German expressionism of the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, that could be an interesting movie as well. But again, I didn't write those down. Getting more grounded, something like Psycho, The Purge, something like the Psycho. He could definitely make Psycho, again, Psycho's dead franchise. What was the last movie? The Bates fucking Motel? Like, the Bates, like it could definitely benefit from a zombie overhaul and a zombie spin. What could zombie do with Norman Bates? Like, because as somebody who loves writing these unhinged, creepy fucking psychopaths, what could he do with the OG? That's something like, again, it would definitely be a very different Psycho movie, a very gory Psycho movie, which I believe is different but it's like, I know it's Hitchcockian and it would be a departure from what it's supposed to do, but I don't know, something about a Rob Zombie written Norman Bates sounds really interesting. Now, of course, you'd probably go back to his childhood and watch him kill people in a clown mask first, but I mean, I don't know. Something about, like, again, kind of inspired by his Halloween remake of, like, maybe a Norman Bates duology. If you're going to give him a duology, I could see a Rob Zombie Psycho duology kind of working. Next, Clockwork Orange. If you're going to do it, I know remakes are a big thing. If you're going to do it, Clockwork Orange should never be remade. That's the first thing I'm going to say. Clockwork Orange should never be remade. We don't have the balls as a society to actually remake this movie. If this movie came out today, it would be called trash. It'd be called trash and canceled. Everybody making it would be canceled. Fortunately, it came out when it did. However, if there's one man that has the balls to fucking remake this movie, there's only one man alive who has the balls to remake it, and that's Rob Zombie. And because Rob Zombie likes Malcolm McDowell, you could easily bring him Malcolm McDowell back. Even though he was Alex in the original, he could be like the head scientist in Rob Zombie's hypothetical remake, which would offer some interesting parallels between. You can give Malcolm McDowell's character some lines that kind of, you even make a sequel to Clockwork Orange. A Rob Zombie directed sequel to Clockwork Orange that takes place years later. Like, that could be very intriguing stuff. If you're going to do it, you have to trust somebody with the material. And the problem with Hollywood these days is, who do you trust with the fucking material? Who do you trust with it? Who would name one director in Hollywood that you trust with the Clockwork Orange? That'd be fucking nobody. Sorry, James Wan. I don't trust you with the Clockwork Orange. Clockwork Orange requires a very specific mindset that I feel like only Rob Zombie has, if you will. If that makes sense. Next, I have The Shining. Same kind of similar reasons for, like, the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, how we just mentioned. Fucking Rob Zombie's character, like, Kubrick's camera work in this was very revolutionary. Rob Zombie's go with the camera. Bill Moseley as fucking Jack Torrance, and fucking his wife as the wife. Writes itself. Rob Zombie Shining remake. There you go. Of course, Stephen King would hate it and probably would never fucking give him the rights to it. But I don't know, dude. I don't know. But some of the imagery you have in the hotel, and of course, Rob Zombie probably likes that weird scene with, like, the old lady's tits hanging out and all that shit. So, like, definitely grounds for some Rob Zombie white trash action that he likes to employ so much in there. Again, you gotta think like him, dude. What movies would he want to do? Oh shit! Spoilers. Spoilers. My fucking Purge movie's not in there. What a shame. But yeah, we'll talk about that real fast. The Purge. Well, again, this will be quick. This one's really fucking fast. The Purge is another franchise with a bunch of crazy psychos that would definitely fit Rob Zombie's style, and I think he could create a nice, insane entry for. It crosses that line between mainstream and underground, but, like, I feel like Rob Zombie could give you a good Purge movie. Just like he could definitely create the crazy psychos that are needed to, like, make that movie function and go. So next, I have Jeepers Creepers. And let me start off by saying that I don't like Jeepers Creepers. Jeepers Creepers, like, this is before I knew the director was a pedo. I've never liked this movie. I think it's decent. It's okay. But, like, I personally never liked it because I don't like the demon. Sorry. I absolutely don't like the demon. And I think the main reason I don't like the demon is that the first act of Jeepers Creepers is very fucking good. The very first act is actually really good. When they're driving and then they see this man dumping bodies into his shaft and then he turns and sees him looking at him, so he's got to get in his van and go after him. All that stuff was really good. And then you lost me when you you revealed it was fucking Satan or something. Like, ugh. It was scarier when it was just a man in a truck. The fucking demon shit in the wings, you lost me, dude. That steals eyes, you lost me. The scary man coming for you in his crazy fucking van in the middle of nowhere, that was scary. Fucking insane demon with the wings, that wasn't scary. Also, this is controversial series due to the director. And it's just like, it's in the toilet. Did you see the fucking last movie, bro? This franchise sucks. Jeepers Creepers is trash. But you give it to Rob Zombie, give him full creative control, and I think he could get something out of it. And again, somebody like me, I'm not seeing a Jeepers Creepers movie unless like fucking Rob Zombie's attached to it. You're gonna have to do something drastic with this franchise to bring it back. And I think giving it to Zombie, give it to Zombie, let him see what he can do with it. Of course he would have to want to do it, but like this is a franchise that has nothing to lose. Give Rob a call, let him do something with it. So my last two, lads, those are the ones he really should do. Okay? My last two are wild cards. Well, my last three, I forgot there's a third one I just added before filming. My last three are wild cards. These could either be interesting, really, really good, or they could completely shit the bed and be horrible. Like, there would really be no in between. My first one, I originally had this in something that he shouldn't do, but I figured, it's really dead. It's really dead. And that's fucking Jaws. And again, I know, this is not Rob's style. It's not his style to have the big giant monster killer shark thing. And the shark from Jaws is a movie monster that does not behave like real sharks at all. This is a fucking movie monster. However, Jaws is like the kingpin of dead franchises. Jaws is dead. When was Jaws' last movie? 1984 or something? This franchise is fucking dead, bro. So it's like, I'm definitely on the side of a Rob Zombie Jaws remake being fucking terrible. Of course I am. I don't think Rob could do this. I don't think Zombie could pull off a Jaws remake. Because Jaws is one of the best movies ever made. But here's the thing. Though. Jaws being so dead means it has nothing left to lose. Look at all those demand for a Jaws movie, bro. Like, who wants to see another Jaws movie? Fucking nobody. So, I feel like Zombie could be able to, get something out of a Jaws remake. Like, you give him... I am intrigued by the idea of a Rob Zombie written Quint. I think Rob Zombie could honestly make Quint the main character of his Jaws remake and have it work. Like, if you're going to remake Jaws, you have to do something different. And I think if you make Quint the main character, that opens the door for your Rob Zombie trash that you like to do a little bit. You could obviously Brody would be a main character in the movie because it would still end with Brody and the shark fighting. That would be the challenge. Maybe Quint could have a more active role in, killing the shark, for setting Brody up to kill the shark or something. But a character story revolving entirely around Quint, I think Rob Zombie could actually do. I think he could actually do it. And obviously, you can make his wife play, Quint's girlfriend that died or something, or some shit. You can have a bunch of flashbacks. I don't know. I just think that you could make... And again, anybody could do this, but, I feel like with the way that Rob Zombie writes trashy characters, you can make Quint trashy, sort of, and it would still, be okay. Because, again, when you get what Rob Zombie goes for, when you get it, you get it. So it's when I say make Quint trashy, it's it's really give him that Rob Zombie coat of paint. It's when Rob Zombie doesn't write trashy characters when he doesn't want to write, Brackett in Halloween 2. If you make Quint kind of a hybrid between one of the trashier characters and then the Brackett from Halloween 2, you could definitely do something with Jaws. But again, a Rob Zombie Jaws remake has a 99% chance of being terrible. So that's why I left it in, wild card. Next, Candyman. Rosie, What are you talking about? Candyman's not dead. That we just had Jordan Peele do a Candyman, and it was really good. First of all, that Candyman reboot was fucking average. And here's another thing, okay? I want to see a Candyman movie with balls, okay? If you're going to tackle, like, if you're going to use horror's most famous black icon to like, give racial commentary, I want you to do it with balls, bro. I want you to do it with balls. That Candyman movie was so safe. It was so safe. I feel like if you give Rob Zombie Candyman, I feel like nobody would produce a more ballsy Candyman movie than Rob Zombie. You definitely have that white trash. He definitely likes that white trashy side of humanity that can obviously be in conflict with some of the black characters in the movie. Like, putting that idea of race versus class, because like those white trash hicks and like that are also in poverty and in the same situation as the blacks in the city poverty. That race versus class dynamic, like they're different races. So like there's a ton of whites that like I like my ex-girlfriend was like that. I've said that a couple times on the show. She was like that, and like they were big racists over there. Yeah, they were big racists. Big Confederate flag hanging up in the house. And I don't say, like they're racist. And, like, she didn't believe in mixing. Like, she didn't believe in races mixing. Like, they're racist. They were actually racist. Whereas, like people, like, say boy who cried racist nowadays as being someone who disagrees with me. No, they were genuinely racist over there, okay? Their whole family was genuinely racist. But it was funny because if you look at their economic situation compared to the poor blacks and the poor whites that live in the city, like they are not in that much of a different economic situation, yet those whites hated them. And it's like, you're really not that different from each other. And I think that's the kind of Candyman movie, like that's the kind of social commentary I would want to see in a Candyman movie. And I think that Rob Zombie is the only one with the balls to do it. And again, it's not that he's the perfect man for the job. Like, ideally, Jordan Peele could do it. But I just, like, again, I just don't think that that's the kind of racial commentary that society has the balls to actually fucking do. Because it's not the narrative, if you will. It's the slightly off narrative. But if you capitalize on that dynamic, like, I think a Rob Zombie definitely could, with his trashy characters, his white trash characters saying the hard R N-word and shit like that being in the movie, that could be an intriguing story right there. But again, it's that kind of relation where a Rob Zombie white trash element could actually elevate the movie and make it into something it would not be without it. That's why I think Candyman's a wild card, because 99% of the population would hate it and call it racist. Like, for real, if Rob Zombie produced a Candyman movie, 99% of the population would try to cancel him and call him racist, even though it would probably be very intelligent. Again, in context, the writing's probably ain't going to be there because it's a Rob Zombie movie. But there's my idea for the Rob Zombie Candyman. And the last idea that I have, lads, this is the ultimate wild card, I think. H.P. Lovecraft. I, lads, am a diehard Lovecraftian. I love this man. I love his work. I love his philosophy. I love everything about him. I studied him for many, many years. There's not much I don't know. Now, obviously, I'm not in a Lovecraft phase right now, so I can't spout out as much as I could 6 months ago when I was really really into the Lovecraft stuff. And I still am. But I'm not in that phase. Like, right now, I can tell you a lot more about Rob Zombie than I can about the Lovecraft shit. But why I say Lovecraft is the ultimate wild card, okay, is that, like, first of all, their ideas kind of mesh. Like, they're very, like the insane people, that they overlap there with the crazy people. But again, Lovecraft's characters are made crazy due to their revelations of cosmic deities that we can't understand. But, like, they overlap there a little bit. The nihilism. They have a lot of their stories have a very nihilistic themes to them that I think they overlap on, and stuff like that. And just like general tone, you could definitely insert some of the gore in there. It's just, but why I say this is the main reason I say that this is a fucking wild card, lads, is that you need good writing here. You need good writing. I know that Rob Zombie could do cosmic horror. I know he could do it. There's just something about the man where I think I look at him and I just know he could do it. If he got as passionate about Lovecraft as he was about White Trash, I know he could do it because he has that certain. In order to write good cosmic horror, you have to have a certain mental disposition. You have to have it. If you don't have that certain mental disposition, every attempt at cosmic horror you make falls flat. Look at things like The Ballad of Black Tom, fucking Wintertide, Lovecraft Country on HBO Max. If you don't have the mental disposition to write cosmic horror, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Lovecraftian horror doesn't work unless you have the mental issues to write it. And Rob Zombie either has those issues or does a fucking great job of convincing people he has them. It's hard to translate into film. That's another thing. It's like this Lovecraft has barely any watchable adaptations. Fucking The Color Out of Space 2019 is the best pure Lovecraftian adaptation. I do not care what anybody says. I know some people disagree with that and they think the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society has produced some better ones. And then there's another Danish version of Color Out of Space. Was it Danish or German? There's another foreign version of Color Out of Space that's in black and white that I believe S.T. Joshi believes is the best. But I really love that 2019 movie. I think that's the best. Because I just think that there's a certain spectacle you have to have when you're doing Lovecraft, and I think that came the closest to the spectacle. When it was time to give you the spectacle, that movie gave it to you. But it's just the thing about Lovecraft. Here's another thing: Rob Zombie wouldn't have to listen to anybody because Lovecraft is public domain. He can do whatever he wants with it. There's no studio that owns H.P. Lovecraft's work. None. So Rob Zombie tomorrow could be like, I want to make a Dreams in the Witch House adaptation, and then he could do it. There's nobody to stop him. There is no one to stop this man from doing whatever he wants when it comes to Lovecraft. And the thing with Lovecraft is that Lovecraft has had so many people make pure dog shit out of his work that Rob Zombie's adaptation would definitely be one of the better ones. It definitely would be. Even if he just woke up tomorrow and just did it, it would still be one of the better ones. And there's also a lot of stories that Rob Zombie could do. For Rob Zombie, when you're thinking about Rob Zombie and then H.P. Lovecraft, obviously I think Rob Zombie should stay away from something like Call of Cthulhu because I just don't think that, I don't think he would be the best choice to, adapt that particular work. And obviously, Call of Cthulhu is it's like a bunch of, it's divided up into 3 parts. It's not a very good movie. It's something that's purely literary, if you will. However, something like Dreams in the Witch House, I think Rob Zombie could do really well. Because you could cast his wife as the witch, and then just a Rob Zombie fucking Nyarlathotep. I find that as a Lovecraftian very intriguing. I feel like Rob Zombie could do wonders with Nyarlathotep. But Dreams in the Witch, Azathoth is in Dreams in the Witch House. I mean, he's not in it, but he's the guy signs the book of Azathoth or whatever in Dreams in the Witch House. There's the weird fucking rat dude, and I think that's one he could do. The Terrible Old Man, I think, could be a really good Rob Zombie movie. I really wish fucking Sid Haig was still alive, because he'd make a great Terrible Old Man. But that's something you could definitely do. Reanimator, if you wanted to remake that. Reanimator's definitely not a good story. Lovecraft himself hated it. But if you're wanting to remake Reanimator, that's something you could definitely do if you were Rob Zombie. Dunwich Horror, Shadow over Innsmouth is definitely one you could do if you were Rob Zombie. Under the Pyramids, I find to be an intriguing one if you're Rob Zombie. And The Shunned House is the last one I have. Now, there's definitely more you could definitely do. But, off the top of my head, those were the best ones I could think of. And the Cthulhu mythos has nothing to lose and everything to gain from a Rob Zombie adaptation. This IP will fail in Hollywood. Hollywood will never be able to do the Cthulhu mythos right. Never. Never, never, never. They don't have the fucking balls to do it right. Again, it takes a certain mental disposition, and like Hollywood worry about offending everybody. I don't trust them to do the Cthulhu Mythos justice. Again, takes certain mental shit, dude. It just takes certain mental shit I can't convey to you to do cosmic horror. And you could definitely do it. However, it is still a wild card, because we talked about the writing, and another thing is that I feel like Rob Zombie would just fucking take away from the cosmic horror with his bullshit. That's another thing that would worry me. Like, a fucking, oh, fuck shit out of you, man. Fuck you, bitch. Like, shit like that. Again, there's definitely ways it can be utilized in cosmic horror, but, like, again, subtlety. It's subtlety. You have to, like, work it in, and, like, if you want to show the slow descent into madness, you can definitely use that stuff. But, like, there's definitely ways that Rob Zombie could really fuck it up, too. But again, Lovecraft's work has been given them so many shitty adaptations that I'm intrigued by the idea of a Rob Zombie Lovecraft adaptation. Fucking Whisper in Darkness he could do. I think he could find a way to do that. There's definitely room to play with if you're Rob Zombie tackling H.P. Lovecraft. So, after all that, one of my closing thoughts on the man, he has a style that he likes, that he sticks to, despite what anybody fucking says. So when you're theory crafting projects for him, you have to kind of like think what would be good, what projects are good for him, to kind of, that he doesn't have to bend as many things in his own mind, I guess, because again, he likes to do his own thing, and the thing about him is he is such passion as a filmmaker. When he has an idea, he wants to do it, he's gonna fucking do it. He has a very unrivaled passion in his projects. You can just tell, even the ones that he quote unquote didn't want to do, like Halloween 2 that he didn't want to do. He said, if you're gonna fucking do a sequel to my movie, I want to fucking do it. Like, I believe that's what happened. But the thing about this man is, I know he has a great movie in there somewhere. As much as I wanted to like pray to, I like his 2 Halloween remakes and shit, and like I know he has other movies that are quote unquote good. I need to fucking watch them, but like I'm sure this man, I know he has a fucking horror masterpiece in there somewhere, and I don't think he has that yet. Despite my title of the Rob Zombie Halloween 2 review being that it's his masterpiece. But, like, Halloween 2 is a good movie. It's a good movie. It has problems, the white horse crap and all that shit. It has fucking problems. So I wouldn't say it's a horror masterpiece. It's going to be remembered as one of the greats. But I think he has that. So the trick is, you have to find stuff for him that would work for him. And that's is like, will he ever find that? I'm not sure. Those were my suggestions, but as someone that has a growing fascination for his work, like, it's just one of those things, when you get it, you get it. Well, if you don't, you don't, and he doesn't give a fuck, you know? He doesn't give a fuck if you get his work or not. It's his work. He wants to do what he wants to do. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. Fuck off. And I'm proud, I'm honestly proud to say I'm one of the ones that is starting to get it. So, that's all I got, lads. I'm getting the hell out of here. GG's.